This tutorial is going to cover how to use the trace feature in CorelDRAW to vectorize a drawing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import a drawing that I already scanned, and it works best with work that's inked. And also for your scan settings, you're going to want to make sure that you're scanning at least 150 dpi. You're going to want to keep it around the range of 150 to 300 dpi. That's going to give you the best results when you're vectorizing. Now that I have my image imported on my screen, this isn't a vector image, this is just a JPEG file, and you can see it's kind of bitmappy, it's kind of grainy. You can see the pixels. So we want to make this vector so that we can change the colors on it easily and use it for screen printing. So with it highlighted, I'm going to go to bitmaps, edit bitmap. We're going to do this first so that we can prepare the image for tracing. You can use your zoom tool in Corel Photo Paint because that's what it opens it in. Hold down Shift on your keyboard and then you can click and zoom out to see more of the drawing. And as we're in Photo Paint right now, we're going to go to Image, Transform, Threshold. What this is going to do is it's going to allow us to make the black parts of our drawing a little bit darker so that there's more contrast when we go to trace the bitmap. So once you hit threshold, the typical settings work pretty good, so go ahead and hit OK. And you can see that made the drawing darker. And if you like how it looks, go ahead and X out of Corel Photo Paint altogether. It will ask you if you want to save the changes. You're going to click yes, and then it has the new darkened version on our screen. At this point, with the drawing highlighted, go to bitmaps, and then you can access the tracing features. If you're using an older version of CorelDRAW, you're probably going to have to click on Trace Bitmap and then go to Trace by Advanced Outline. But since this is the newer version, I'm going to show you how to use it in here. You're going to go to Outline Trace, then click on Clip Art. It may ask you if you want to do this at the normal size or if you want to reduce the size. I'm going to keep original size. And it brings up the Power Trace feature, which this window may be maximized or it may be smaller depending on how you have it, but you can make it bigger if you'd like. And you can see on the left we have the original scan drawing, and on the right we have a vectorized version. I'm going to use the zoom in here to just zoom in a little bit and go back to my pan feature and then click and drag to see a particular part of my drawing. At this point, you're going to want to go to the Colors tab. You're going to change the color mode to black and white, and you're going to make sure the number of colors is set at 2, since we're just going to do black and white in this image. At this point, you can click back on the settings. Then we can adjust the level of detail in the drawing. We can change the smoothness and the corner smoothness. And you're just going to have to adjust this depending on which drawing you're using. And then it's going to show you the adjustments as you click and drag on these. And just use settings that you feel works with the drawing that you're using. And you can click and drag to kind of look around your drawing, see if you like how it's looking. If you like it, right before we close out of this, we're going to make sure that Remove Object Overlap is unchecked. And then you're going to hit OK. And then you'll see that there's a vector version on top of our scan. So we can move this vector version to the side, and then we can click on our scan drawing, which we don't need anymore, and press delete. And now we have a vectorized version of this fish that we can now color and do with what we like. So I'm going to click on this, go to Arrange, Ungroup, and then there's a couple spots in here that are still a little bit rough, and if I want to edit those, such as this scale, I'm going to go to my Shape tool, and then I can just adjust these nodes by either clicking on one, pressing delete on my keyboard to get rid of it, or I can click and drag a square around a few of them and press delete to get rid of a few at a time. And then I can also adjust things using the Bezier curve, and those are found if you click on a particular node. You'll see these kind of sticks hanging out of the side of it, and those are control points for those nodes that allow you to adjust them accordingly. It gives you a little bit more control. So at this point, what we would do is we would just reduce some of the nodes that are in the drawing. We would adjust some of the curves, like so. You can even just click and drag on a curve itself to adjust it, or use those nodes like I showed you. And you would just go through parts of the drawing that you wanted to be a little bit smoother. On the next tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead, have this thing cleaned and ready to color, and then I'll show you a few things there.